All right, everybody. I cannot believe this is the last Zoom
Of 2024.
2024. I can't even believe we're saying that. What a crazy year. The years go by fast. It's crazy how that happens. And we've had a lot of time. December is a month that me and Joel really like to talk about vision, what we saw over the previous year, what we're excited about, because obviously the past is the past for a reason, and moving forward, we're excited for a lot of that. But I'm always like, Joel, you're so wise. Will you get on and help me with this Zoom? Because I think sometimes it's just good to we can end of the month. We still have today and tomorrow, you guys. So we're definitely not gonna like cancel at the end of the month. But you know, going into working these last couple of days of what that can be leading into 2025 and what that looks like for you and for your family. And we're excited to talk about that. So looking back, for those of you that don't know who we are Joel and Stephanie Dunn, and we've been in the company for I don't even know now, 15,
Eternity.
16 years, a lot. And when we got started, this kind of stuff, vision, seeing more, believing more, that just wasn't something that I even did.
Mhm.
I thought Joel was crazy. And I've learned
She still does.
he is no, write it down on paper, say it out loud. He's reminding me all the time that words matter. And we know that with kids. And so when I got started in this, I started to go, okay, I want a little bit more. I want the mindset. I want a little bit of the vision and what that looks like. But in that moment of you, when we started, we were standing in food lines. Life was hard. Sometimes it was hard to see beyond where we were currently at, and that's okay if that's where you're at. Because yes,
When she said that, it just made me think this exact statement. It was harder to look in front of us than the person that was standing in front of us in the food lines.
yeah,
That's how limited the vision was, is we couldn't see past that next person in line in the food lines with us.
yeah. So um, I think that if somebody would have came along and shared and encouraged me in a community of people like this, maybe it would have been a little
Mhm.
different. And I think that that's why I really wanted to share this on the end of the month and not keep you guys from working hard, because so many of you are so close to $100 and $200 and 1,000 and all that. But this is important to me because if I could go back, people say this all the time. Okay, you guys have had success over these years, not just in it works, but in other things as well. What would you tell yourself? What are those things that you would do? And this is something that I believe would have propelled us a little bit faster. So just know that if you're on this Zoom and you're a team of one, you are in Stephanie and Joel's corner. We are here. You are no longer a team of one. We want you to know that we're going to be here encouraging you, pushing you a little bit harder than you think you can go in 2025, and believing in you more than you believe in yourself. And that's what I wish somebody, if I would have just believed that a little bit more, that I had somebody in my corner besides my husband, right? Like I love him. He's always there, but other people too. And you guys have that with this community. If you need to screenshot, look around at these faces. I love seeing these faces that get on.
If
Especially you
y'all
could
aren't
all
best friends on social media now, you're doing something wrong.
and especially you could get on this later, you could skip it. It's the end of the month. Maybe you're like, it's not worth it. Whatever. You could be making these excuses, but you're here tonight or you're watching the replay. And there's a reason for that. And I hope that this Zoom encourages you and propels you into the most amazing 2025 yet. And you guys have heard me say, some of you want to be in a hardcore core group, some things that are going to be shifting for Joel and I, because we talk about this. What can we do more or better in 2025? So we'll do that. So enough of that. We'll get to these slides. Joel did say, "You are pretty amazing," because I think sometimes I don't always see the vision, but I see the vision and then I don't always execute. So I will try to execute better for you guys this year on some of these things, but we're going to give you a little vision. And some of you have already done some of these things, but man, what a great thing to maybe screenshot for yourself and then maybe share with new people as they come in through 2025. Or maybe this is just a little extra board for yourself that you need a little extra help on. I haven't really done my vision board yet and I want to do that. So we're just going to get right to it. So this is something that Joel and I do all the time is we take stock. So what does that mean? We can you push that over a little bit? Um, Before we do anything, we we kind of read through this. So before you can effectively plan for the new year, you got to look back at the year past. Now, I just said that's the past for a reason, but what was good and what did you not like, and how can you really change that? So reflect on some of the things that gave you insight that you went, man, I really did good on that. And some of the areas that you're like, I got to stop that. I need I need a little bit more help on that for improvement. So that's something that we love to do.
And when you're doing this, I know a lot of you set goals and we set goals. And guess what? We didn't hit them all. That's why you have stretch goals. So guess what? Just like there's rollover minutes, you get rollover goals. Every single one of you, rollover goals. You get to take the goals that you didn't accomplish this year and move them into next year and add and expand on them. So make sure when you're going through looking at the year that you had, the things that you didn't accomplish, don't look at those as failures. Look at them as stepping stones going into 2025.
So got that one. So take stock. So next, journaling. I don't know if some of you do this enough, but even writing down words or writing down things that you want to do. So take some time. Again, write about this is a little bit of the past, and then we're going to jump forward, but take some time to write about your experiences over the past year. What was your biggest achievements? Maybe you guys enrolled more distributors, or maybe you hit a weight loss goal. I know if Shar is on, she went into the new year with some goals and she did awesome there. What challenges did you face? Writing these things down and before reacting sometimes has always helped me. And Joel's always like, write it down, just write it down. And this can help you really identify patterns. It's interesting because we are creatures of habit. And so you'll start to go, oh my gosh, I'm doing the same thing. I need to break this. Help, who was that person in your corner that you can do that? So that's some of the things that maybe going into 2025, you've never really journaled, have that calendar out, just write some things on of what you're feeling and how can you change it. This is something that I struggle with, and you guys have heard me maybe share this a little bit. I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like depressed or just sad. And that was today, and it might be because I'm just run down and I'm sick and I feel like there's all this to do and not enough time. And I just verbally let Joel know. And it's not because he can necessarily do anything. I want him to know where my brain is at, because sometimes just getting it out and then realizing what can I shift to make that happen. For me, it's sometimes just getting in the car and driving down the road. So whatever that looks like for you, you're human and it's okay, but writing those things down and understanding what's the behavior, what can I do to not stay stuck in depression or whatever that is, because it's easy for me to be stuck there. It used to be. Now I know what my cycle is and how I can verbalize it, break through and move on. And even showing up, I was like, okay, I just got to suck it up and get on this Zoom. Even though I don't feel good, it makes me feel better talking to you guys and helping you. So those are some of the things that have helped me throughout these years. Then evaluating these goals. This one's interesting. So I always review the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. Which ones did I accomplish? Which fell short? So again, this is going back to the beginning of the year, understanding why certain goals were not met. Then they can help me set maybe some more achievable, but I don't always like to do that because I want to also hit
Just
those, but
just
then
so
go,
you
yeah.
guys know, every goal that Stephanie sets is a big, hairy, audacious goal. She doesn't have the realistic, achievable targets. She just throws them all out there, and her whole mentality is shoot for the moon, land in the stars.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I feel like you gotta be a kid sometimes, right? Like, go for it. But I also am like, I need achievable goals that I can do as well. And I know that that's in the next couple of slides of like, okay, what can I control? Because I can put a goal out there, but is it in my control or is not in my control? Because that's another topic that we can always go on. And this is one of the things that I love about Joel is he's always like this goal setting. Once you reflected on this last year, which we have, is time to like move forward and set new goals. And you are so good at that. So can you kind of share? Um, I shouldn't have put maybe the word motivation on there because I'm surprised he didn't catch this because I had him scroll through. But goal setting for you, is this something, you do yearly, you write it down? Do you do it throughout the year? Kinda share a little bit on goal setting for you, Joel.
Well, it comes down to, and you've heard me talk about this probably ad nauseum. You guys are like, oh God, he's going to talk about SMART goals again. Guys, your goals have to be SMART goals. Because if you're just putting goals out there and like it's like I sent Steph a thing today about vision boards. It's like everybody draws the vision board and puts the things on the vision boards, but then does nothing to do the things to get it.
Mhm,
They let's use some crazy examples. People put a Lamborghini on there, they put a Ferrari on there, but they're putting clunker action behind it. Like you're not doing the thing that's going to get you to that expensive car, that expensive goal that you had in mind at the beginning of the year. Your expectations and your actions aren't going together. So that's why SMART goals are so important, because if you make a specific goal and it's measurable and obviously it's achievable and it's relevant, it has to be time bound. Because if you don't have a deadline, you just have a wish. It's just going to go on forever and ever and ever, and you'll get to it eventually. You'll get to it in 2026. You'll get to it in 2027. So when you make the goal, make it specific. What rank do you want? What income amount do you want? What specific thing do you want to take your family to do? That way, you have a deadline or you have the thing, and then you work it backwards from your year. So if you want it done by the middle of the year, you know you've got 6 months to achieve it. So, what are the things that you're going to have to do in those 6 months in order to get there?
mhm.
When you work backwards, it makes things so much easier than if you're trying to work from your thought of your vision board forward. When you create that vision board, break it down over the 12 months into small, actionable steps so that you can bite the elephant every single bite rather than looking at the giant elephant and going, there's no way that I'm going to accomplish that.
Well, and you guys, like, I don't know why I've never really realized this before, but if you look at SMART, it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And I was like, why didn't I ever really notice that before? I don't know. I have looked at this a bazillion times, but I know I have something.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're still on that?
I'm still
Go
in
back.
this because I wanted people to see this. Like you said, write some of these things down. Like I want to get fit, but I will exercise for 30 minutes is better than I want to get fit. So, like Joel just said, you got to kind of peel that back. Of course, you all want ambassador, but what is that going to take to get that? That's something that for me is like, how many people do I need to talk to in order for somebody to become a customer distributor? And that's where really getting super specific on these goals matters. Like, that's something I think that's what you were getting at when you were saying what you were saying, right? Okay. All right. You can go to the next. I'm surprised I'm still going. Um, and this is kind of I guess I could have just gone into this page. You knew me too well. So, and breaking down those goals, like large goal can be overwhelming. I get it. Like hearing, oh, I want 10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. You guys, I remember saying that first. I wanted $1,000 a month, and I was like, okay, I did that. I need to stretch myself. $10,000 a month. I didn't really set myself a timeline necessarily at the 10,000,
That's because you wanted to do it faster than you could
probably.
imagine.
But looking back again, like what are some of the things I was doing? I was like, how many people can I help in order to do that? And then breaking the math down. So if you're a diamond, a double diamond, how many people do you need to bring in with the cab and then your overall um commissions? Like those are some things that you can really break down.
Guys, here's the thing about your goals. Whether you decide to use the SMART format, you want to just do your own goals the way that you've always done them. Here's the thing. Everything hinges on urgency.
Mhm.
That's why when Steph was talking about her $10,000 goal, it was because there was a sense of urgency that she had lit the fire under her own ass, that there was nobody that needed to do anything for her. She was going to go as fast as humanly possible. I always tell people this business isn't a get rich quick business, but guess what? Doing it faster is way better because the longer that it takes for you to do it, the less of your life you have to enjoy it. You will never be more healthy, more amazing, younger than you are today. So why not do the things that you can do today as fast as you can so that you can preserve the awesome time that you get to spend in your golden years?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that goes with momentum, you guys going into the new year. You're probably all excited, like, can't wait for that next chapter to turn over. And I don't know why that is for people. Like this number, it's just like it changes. And, the goal is to keep that momentum going throughout the year as long as you can coming into this. But like Joel said, if you can get excited, be surrounded by the fire when you feel like nobody else is around you. You got to stay plugged in. You got to stay close to the fire because that's what helps me stay in and move faster.
Mhm.
I think that's always been something for me. So again, you guys just breaking down goals. Nobody really told me that at the beginning when I joined. I kind of just figured it out. And again, I wish, looking back, if a newbie comes in, like, let's break down your goals, whether that's 4 customers and distributor a month or 4 customers and distributor a week. What are those small goals going to be that can turn into the large goals? Visualize success. This is probably both of our favorites.
This one,
Mhm.
I know what it says on here, but I'm going to go completely different after Steph talks about it.
Oh, well, I just wanna know do you guys wanna know what Joel wants? Put it in the comments, like, I kinda wanna know, like, what are you gonna say? Um, so Joel did this years ago. He was always writing down what he envisioned. It's kind of funny too, because before I met Joel, I started writing down the perfect man that I wanted, and looking back, like, color of hair and everything, I was super specific, and I visualized all these things,
And then all of a sudden I show up.
and no, and
How that
it
works.
was great, but even in this, I saw myself hitting the ranks. I visualized what it was gonna be like. Even though I didn't wanna be on stage, you guys, I visualized it because I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. I didn't know I was gonna be scared to be up there, but I still wanted it. So what do you see yourself? Do you see yourself grabbing that mic? Do you see yourself getting that trophy? Do you see your team hitting those ranks and achieving what they wanted? And then it's like creating that plan to work towards that. And um you can have the practical but again, if you have everything perfect, if you don't visualize it, it's not gonna happen. Like, no matter what you do, you can be the perfect person to talk to distributors and customers and everything, but if you are not envisioning yourself at where you wanna be, that's just not gonna happen. So I wanna know what you have to say.
I want you to do this practice. So think about this. The majority of high performance athletes, Olympic athletes, they actually go through visualization training. They close their eyes. The more of your senses you can involve in this, the better. So, is it something that you can smell? Is there a taste to it? Is there a sound to it? Is there a feeling to it? Make sure you're engaging all of those. Close your eyes. If you feel like you need to walk across stage for something, make sure you go somewhere that has a stage and walk across that stage. Do you have something deep down in your heart that you want to share to people? You better start practicing that damn speech now. Why wait?
Mm,
Do the speech now as if you're doing it from stage. All of the things that you want to have happen that haven't happened yet, have a pretend day.
mhm,
Think about that. When you were kids, what did you do? You play and you pretended. You pretended you were a princess. You pretended you were an astronaut. You pretended. That is what visualization is, other than the fact that you're attaching it to something that you want to create and have happen. Basketball players stand on a free throw line and visualize making the basket before they even shoot. Sprinters are at the line seeing themselves finish the race with people behind them and nobody in front of them. What are the things that you can put in front of you to create that space that you are going to walk into this year?
Hey, we went bowling and I envisioned myself doing really well and I beat Joel. Maybe that was something, but I'm just thinking back to that just a few days ago of like walking up to that line. I am not a bowler, you guys, but I was like, I'm going to focus. I'm gonna keep my arms straight because I knew I wasn't on some of these prior to it, and I envisioned it going down and making the strike. Now, was that because I did envision that? Was it because I took some extra time and thought it through? I don't know, but if I wouldn't have visioned it, if I wouldn't have saw it and watched that ball go down, it probably wouldn't have happened. And that's what Joel's saying is no matter what it is, you've got to see yourself in all areas, not just in it works, but in anything that you want. Your marriage is what does that look like? How does that look like? Your kids, going through school, what are they going to be like? All of those things. That's just something that success is different in everybody's definition of it, right? And so, success to me is being healthy. Joel, it's so important to Joel and I. And so we visualize, especially going through some health scares for me. I visualized myself. I'm like, no, I'm going to be healed because I already know I'm going to live to be 100. There was no question that I was going to be super healthy and live to be 100. And so it's not just always it works that we're talking about, you guys, because I want to be able to say to you someday that I helped you and not just at works, but in your whole life. So visualization is super important to people. Um, this is my jam right here is breaking down weekly and monthly goals for myself. If I did not do this, you guys, I would not I would not hit a lot of the things that I go after because this is so easy for any of us to do, no matter what you're at. If you're a brand new distributor, you got to break down your day, you got to break down your week, your month, your year, and what that looks like. And so I love coming into January. A lot of you know that I'm always like, okay, my goal is 10 distributors and 30 customers. Should I stretch it and try to double that? But like, what is something that you can break down each and every month and week? And because if you don't, you're never going to do that and tracking it. Like again, I think this is something that weight loss goals, health goals, uh, maybe you want to save money goals, that's something too that you got to do not only yearly, but breaking it down monthly, weekly, and even daily. Cause maybe you're like, you know what? I'm not doing Starbucks anymore. I'm just doing our coffee. And how much would that save? And figuring that out each month and putting that in an envelope. Like little things like that, you don't realize, I think, how simple tasks like this can make your life so much easier and become a habit. And before you know it, like this is just part of what you do every single day. So here's another thing that Joel and I love is I think leverage of technology. And you've really grasped onto that and systems and things. And so Joel and I have been really utilizing a lot of things to come in and go, okay, guys, I think, testing some things out that we think that we'll be able to share with some of you to be like, okay, this will help you. If it works for us, if we feel like it's something that we can add value to you, you guys know we're going to always share it with you. So, um, making sure that you're using some of that. Again, sometimes it's just a calendar, you know, what is something that you can leverage? And that sounds so simple, but it's so good. You got to set the timer. If you don't have a timer set, if you don't have an alarm set, do you actually wake up? Like I wouldn't if I didn't have an alarm. Like I love sleep, so I would not get up. So it sounds crazy, but you've got to start utilizing just some simple things, even on just your phone. And then set some time each week to review. I think for me, life gets busy. Just like I had to get my tree down, I had to get my life organized. Not even feeling good. Joel was so good at helping me because I was like, I'm going into the new year. I don't want any of this stuff up and out. Like I'm focused. Like I'm ready for 2025. So um every week I'll do that. Like, did I get some new stories up into my notes? What have I done for the week coming ahead? And um, these are just some simple things that I think you guys can do. And you guys know to go in the team pages. We've made it easy for you. But if you want to stretch yourself, you're going to do a little extra. You're going to go beyond what we have and create your own, find others that you like. Like, that's just a guide. I always want you to go above and beyond. If you want more in 2025, don't just do what we have, do more. You're gonna find that you're gonna stretch yourself even better. I think this is probably one of the best words you can have is you gotta be flexible, you guys. Life is always gonna throw things at you, and you've gotta be prepared. It doesn't mean that it stops you. It just means you reroute. You know, I think sometimes people come into our lives and I'm like, "I love them so much," and then they're not there, and I'm like, "Where'd they go?" But I gotta be flexible, and that's okay. Like, we never know. So we just have to be able to be like, okay, it's just a learning curve. Did I learn from it? What can I grow from it? But being flexible going into 2025, not everything's going to be perfect. It never is, never will. Of course, there's going to be times that feel so good and on fire and you're excited. But when you expect things to happen, you're ready and you pivot. It's no big deal. Like, oh, okay, that post didn't do very well. Okay, on to the next post. Or, man, I sent out this many messages. This didn't work, but I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go make a reel so that eyes can get on me. Just be flexible.
When you are out in the world, you need to keep your head on a swivel because things are going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Oh my God.
Guys, be prepared for things to not go the way you want them. That is what leaders do. Leaders set a plan, but they know there's going to be bumps in the road. They see more and they see further and they see before others. So your job is to be flexible and to pivot so that you can help lead your team around those unexpected things that happen.
Hmm. I know those people in there. Celebrate small wins, you guys. Like, I think you've heard corporate say this a lot. Sometimes we just don't make it such a big deal and learn to celebrate the small wins. Like it'll what it does is it'll keep you moving forward in the right direction. And so for me, is sometimes it's like, man, I've reached out to so many. December was a tough month for me. I love December. You guys have heard me say this. It's a love hate month for me because I love my family so much. But when you're trying to hit your goals, people just don't have the money sometimes to order from you. They're like, oh, after Christmas, right? So now all those seeds that I'm planting, they're starting to happen, but I want them faster than that. So if I can just know I did the work, I'm proud of that work that I put in because I'm going to reap the benefits moving forward because I just went ahead and did it even though I felt like, man, isn't anybody going to order? Oh, where are these customers? How many times do I have to message people? But that's what people do. That's what, we are in sales a little bit. I think people get scared when you say that. But for me, we're always in sales. We're selling something the rest of our life. That's just who we are. We're selling ourselves constantly. But I get texts so many times. Like now it's a New Year sale, right? So you can't be like, oh my gosh, I'm driving these people crazy because they're getting hit by everybody else. We just need to be on top of their minds. So for me, no matter what that goal is, of maybe your goal is I want to have 10 conversations today. I want to have 20 conversations today. Celebrate it if that's what you did. If you're like, I want to get better at creating wheels and reels, so I want to do one a week starting in January, celebrate those. Maybe it's one a day, two a day, whatever that is. Don't forget to celebrate that and put that out there if you need some cheering on from your team. I think this is the last one of
Yeah, this is it.
I mean, sometimes you guys don't need
This
to
is
know
it for
all the things,
2024.
but um you know, going in and just looking back at 2024, there's so many things to be grateful for. Some of you I've become really good friends with. Some of you I haven't met yet, and I hope that I get to meet you in 2025. Some I've seen incredible health goals that you've hit. I've seen you inspire and show up on Zooms even when you don't think you're being seen, you're being seen. I want you to know that. I see you and it's exciting for me when I'm showing up too. Um I didn't hit all the goals that I wanted to do, but that doesn't mean I stop. Just like a tire, right? If a tire goes out, you're not going to go slash the other 3 to go flat. You're going to change your tire. And so I just got to change my tire. I'm going into 2025, so fresh wheels, right? We get a new page to flip and we are the writers of our next chapter of the next new year and um it's a challenge sometimes to be like, "Oh my gosh, every day I need to show up. I need to show up." One day at a time, you guys. Don't get overwhelmed. Be excited. Remind yourself you got a great team of people cheering you on. Um But again, going into this new year, it's a fresh start. Throw it away. Some of you need to hear that and you're excited about that. Sometimes I know so much about each of you that I'm like, how did they even show up today? And I'm so proud of you for just showing up, because I know that sometimes life is really hard and we don't know the battles that everybody is going through, because Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's all a highlight reel. So we think, oh man, they have it made, when in reality, we don't really know what they're going through. So know that 2025 is going to be a chance for you to take the lessons that maybe some of you have learned in 2024 and use that to maybe speak into someone that needs to hear something that you walked through. Like, we never know who or what we're going to impact. I never have thought all of the challenges that we've gone through, the amount of people that I would come in contact or ask me about, hey, what did you use when you were going through cancer stuff? I'm like, never would have thought that. Or grieving, losing parents, or someone that you loved. Like, there's so many things that I could just be sad about, and instead, and you can be sad, but how can you help someone else get through it, because it just makes you feel so much better. Jenna, I see you on here. Your stories and powerful. Like, I could go on and on. I only see a little quarter of you, but like, you are all important. You all have so much to give. And going into 2025, I want that to be the year that you guys change more lives through It Works, through the product, through the business. Maybe they're not quite ready to come in, but you've impacted their lives in some way, form, fashion that you did this. And that's what we're about, because people are watching us, right? So what does that look like for you? You get to design what 2025 looks like for you. So I know it wasn't really like a hype up Zoom. I'm sorry. Usually I'm like super peppy and ready to go, but I made it. You guys, I made it.
She made it
I didn't
through.
even hardly cough. I'm so glad. Like, oh Lord. So my depression has gone away because of you guys. So thank you for showing up for me to see these smiley faces.
Guys, here's the homework that I want you to do between now and the end of the week. Write down and be specific. Who do you want to be 1 year from now? Write down the person that you want to be, the things that you want to have accomplished 1 year from now, and then tuck it away in a place that you will hopefully remember and find, not that one safe place that you can never remember, but in that one that you can find, so that at the end of the year you can open it up and you're introducing yourself as who you are 1 year from now. When you hear Ed Milet talk about how he wants to get to heaven, he wants to get to heaven, and he thinks the thing is that you get there and God shows you the version of you that he created you to be. And he says, I want to get to heaven and be like, I know exactly who this is. He says the worst fear that he has is showing up and that person being somebody that's completely different than who he is. He wants to make sure that him and the God given version of him are the same person. And that's what we want for you over this next year.
Make me cry. So on that, we love you guys. Lots coming in. Like, let's not forget. I know we're so excited for 2025, but we have a couple more days.
Yeah, like 20 something hours.
And we know people want the 30-day drop. We've seen lives, so many before and after pictures of so many of you, and keep inspiring and sharing, because people are watching. They're starting to order. Like, it's exciting. And we're going to go into 2025. Joel's going to close this out. Lots for you in 2025. Probably going to vomit on you. Some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's got so much information. But again, I want to make this change. So there's things that I loved of 2024. There's things I didn't love. And so we're going to pivot and we're going to change that. And I'm going to share that in 2025. But we got month end. Joel, you need to close us out, because I know you're going to give us some powerful prayer words over us all to have the most amazing year end.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this amazing team and the amazing things that you've accomplished in and through them this year. You have done incredible things because they listened and they did. God, I just ask that you would bless them over these last few hours of the year, show them the things that they need to see and do, and get ready for you to give overabundance of what you've planned for them for next year, God. We thank you for them. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2025. We love you guys.
Hey guys, I'll see you next year.
Bye.